Welcome to Fin24. Today we are speaking to Johann Els, Senior Economist at the Old Mutual Investment Group. Welcome, Johann.
Hi, thanks.
Johann, let's get right into it. What can we expect? What are your views on the upcoming budget with regards to the overall fiscal policy?
I think it's going to be a fairly tight budget. The new Minister of Finance set the scene in October last year when he had presented his first mini-budget, or the medium-term budget policy statement. And then he said, time has come, government realizes that the ratings agencies, the foreign investors, wants us to have a tighter fiscal policy. In other words, get the deficit to lower levels on a quicker basis. And then he said, we have to hike taxes to get revenue up, and we have to cut expenditure. That was very positive, and the ratings agencies and foreign investors liked that.
Yes.
And I think he's going to continue in that path. So firstly, he made some announcements in terms of how much extra revenue he wants to get. So he's going to have to deliver and tell us where he's getting that. But I think he must also, if possible, and I think that is possible, and that will be very positive again, if he over-delivers. In other words, raise taxes by a little bit more. I know you and I don't want to hear that.
No, not particularly.
We don't want to hear that, but it's very positive news for the economy, and we might get the benefit a little bit later ourselves in terms of that benefit. So over-deliver, bit more tax increases, bit more cutting of spending, and then get the deficit lower, quicker, and I think that'll be very positive.
Okay, again, we're looking at bigger picture, we're looking at macroeconomic climate here. What does this tighter budget mean for the South African consumer?
Well, I think, it's a bit of pain in terms of higher taxes that you all will have to pay, but we can come into that. The bulk of those taxes will be for the rich. So the average middle man in the street like you and me, we won't pay that much more. But in the end...
Cross our fingers.
Yeah, cross our fingers and hope to die. The tighter fiscal stance means that foreign investors sit back and say, the South African policymakers know what they're doing. They realize they have to tighten the belts a bit. And that means foreign investors like us a little bit more, so they're willing to invest here. And if they're willing to invest here, the currency, the rand, stabilizes and might even strengthen a little bit. That means there's less pressure on the Reserve Bank, so interest rates won't go up. So that's where we all, in the medium to longer term, save. So we don't want to downgrade by the ratings agencies. That'll be very negative for us as an economy. We want them to be happy with us, and tighter fiscal stance will give that.
What are we looking at in terms of inflation, in terms of how it would affect the rand, in terms of how the tighter policies would affect those sort of everyday markets? Yeah,
to start with inflation and interest rates and the rand, it's also the year when we've seen significant petrol price cuts on the back of the lower oil prices. So petrol price down now at 4 rand a litre already. So inflation probably down to close to 3% by April. So that's significant. That's more money in our pockets. We spend that money. That helps significantly. So we also import a lot of oil. So our other deficit, there's the twin deficits, the budget deficit and the current account deficit. If we import less oil, the current account deficit will improve. So that means that the combination of better deficits, both the current account and budget deficit, lower inflation, all of that means the rand could very well strengthen this year. I won't be surprised to see 10 rand something, a 10 rand handle on the rand to the dollar. It's already strengthened against the euro, but against the dollar, very well strengthened. So all of this means stronger rand, lower inflation, all of that is good for us as consumer. Oh, so yes, we pay a little bit more on taxes maybe, but the net benefit in terms of lower petrol prices, lower inflation, and not having to pay more interest rates on our debt, all of that will help this improvement. And as I say, the medium to longer term benefit of tighter fiscal policy, better economic policy.
So can we say that the expectation, there is a positive expectation from the upcoming budget?
Yes, I certainly think so. But now the minister must actually deliver on that positive expectation. If he doesn't, then there's that surprise on the downside. I expect him to deliver, but that positive expectation will add in to all the positives from the petrol price cuts, the lower oil prices, the lower oil imports, all those other benefits. So that's why I'm thinking that this year could potentially be a substantially better year than the last couple that we've seen. Not only for the overall economy, but also for the consumer.